What is it that Christians are known for?
Forgive each other.
Okay, for forgiveness. That's good stuff.
Jesus.
Known for Jesus. That's the one in the front row. Yeah.
They read the Bible.
Okay. Wow, those were very positive things. Okay. So those are the things that we think Christians are known for. Why don't we go check this out? These are 4 characters from very popular sitcom shows. Do you guys know who these people are? Can you name any of them? Yeah.
Ned Flanders.
Ned Flanders from?
The Simpsons.
From The Simpsons. Shemi. Angela from The Office. Sorry? Yeah, the manager from Superstore, that's Glenn. And then this is Shirley Bennett from Community. Each of these characters are written to be Christian characters. It's not that the actors are Christian, but that these characters were developed to be Christians within their shows. And this is what they're known for. Being delusional, being holier than thou. Holier than thou just meaning like thinking that they're better than other people. Being spiteful, hypocritical, judgmental. Why do you think these Christian characters are written this way? Yeah.
Stereotypes.
Stereotypes. Do you think there's any truth to them?
Sadly, some Christians may act in some ways like that.
So there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? You can be honest, by the way. Yeah.
That's actually how a lot of
Sorry, that's how a lot of Christians behave.
Yes.
Yeah. Roger appreciated that the cat's still dead. So this is Angela from The Office. She is the Christian of The Office. She is hypocritical, judgmental, puts other people down, and even her co-workers have to go to the internet just to figure out how to deal with her. Can we agree that it's a problem that the world associates Jesus with stuck-up, hypocritical, judgmental, spiteful Christians? We can agree on that. The only way we're going to change people's minds is by living differently to the people around us, the people who don't follow Jesus. Because as I went around the room and we just talked about why those stereotypes, where they come from, most people don't just think those because they've been shown that. It's likely that they've encountered a Christian or someone at least who has called themselves a Christian who has acted in that way. So the only chance we have of changing their minds is by living differently to the people around us. Do you agree? Instead of being known for putting other people down, being arrogant or hypocritical, followers of Jesus must be known for how they serve. Above all else, followers of Jesus must be known for how they serve. Thank you for the whoop. That's encouraging. Serving is what we are talking about today. So what does it mean to serve? What does it mean to serve? You've never served someone?
Just to be helpful.
To be helpful? Sure. Nice Hamilton hoodie.
To do something for others without being asked.
Yeah, absolutely.
To follow what God tells you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. These are all really good examples of serving. Serving is what we are talking about. But here's what I want to try and convince you of today, that serving is love. It's love for God and it's love for people. That serving is leadership. Serving is obedience. It's doing what Christ did. It's how we become leaders. And serving is our purpose. It's what we were designed to do. It is the key to a fruitful, joy-filled, and purpose-filled life. Who doesn't want to love well, lead well, and have a purposeful life? So, how are we going to work towards this? Can I get a volunteer to read the passage on the screen? Oh, thanks.
So he, Jesus, got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him.
Thank you. So, Jesus gets up from the table, and they're celebrating Passover, the Passover festival. This was a Jewish festival that would happen once a year to commemorate the time when God, in the Old Testament, saved the Israelites from Egypt by passing over each of the houses. So that's what they were doing. They were about to sit down, and then Jesus gets up, he ties a towel around his waist, and he gets on his knees in this posture of humility. And everyone else at the table is thinking, what are you doing, Jesus? That's kind of weird. Washing feet was a common occurrence. It was something you would do like for hospitality. It was good etiquette to leave out a basin of water for your guests to wash their own feet. And then maybe if you had a really like low status Gentile, meaning like non-Jew, slave, they might wash the guest's feet. But otherwise, the guest would wash their own feet. Not even Jewish slaves would be made to wash other people's feet. And yet Jesus, the creator of the universe, gets down on his knees to wash the soot and the dust and the grossness, the sores and the blood, the feces from the animals that were around, off his friend's feet. And they're thinking, oh, that's really weird. You know what it's like? You know what it would be like? It's like LeBron James is coming to town and he wants to eat at your house. And your mom makes this home-cooked meal and everybody's about to sit down, and then he gets up and says, I'll be right back. And you're like, what's taking this guy so long? You go and you open the door to the bathroom, and he's on his hands and knees scrubbing the toilet. That's what it's like. Like he's putting himself in such a humble position. You're thinking, this guy makes so much money a year. Like he could be with anyone else right now. He's got so much power, so much status. And he's taking out my garbage. He's scrubbing my shower. Like, what is going on? I am very uncomfortable right now. This is what the disciples are feeling. Jesus lowered himself to such a crazy low standard, below even a Jewish slave. Can I get another volunteer to read the next passage? Yeah?
When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. Do you understand what I have done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I am your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be
Blessed
if you do them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So Jesus, he's done washing their feet, and he says, you get it? You get the message? You get the point? And they say, nope. What was that about, Jesus? He says, do you understand what I have done for you? You recognize that I'm your teacher. You recognize that I'm your Lord. You recognize that I'm the Messiah and all my status and all my glory. And yet I still just washed your feet. Now that I have washed your feet, you should also wash one another's feet. And he's not just talking about foot washing. He's saying, like, you should serve one another as if you owed them your life. I have just sent you an example for how you should treat your brothers and sisters. Because if I can do it, so can you. If LeBron James can scrub your bathroom clean, What can you do for your friends? What can you do for your community? Here's the final key verse. Oh, here's the takeaway from that. Within the gathering of Christians, no one is above one another. There is no clout, there is no glory. It should just be each of us serving each other as Jesus did. Agree? Okay. This is the last part of John 13. My children, I will be with you only a little while longer. You look for me, and just as I told the Jews, so I tell you now, where I am going, you cannot come. Where is Jesus going?
Heaven?
Yeah, heaven. I heard it a few times. Jesus is about to be crucified, and he says this, a new command I give to you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. Because by this, everyone will know that you are my disciple, if you love one another. Okay, let's break this down for a second. A new command I give to you. A new command I give to you. Is this a suggestion?
No.
Is this a question?
No.
Is this him asking something? What is it? A statement. It is a command. If you are a follower of Jesus, you will do what he says following this. So we know it's a command. What is he commanding us to do?
Love one another.
Love one another. He says it 3 times in 2 sentences, which means one thing. It must be important. Love one another, love one another, love one another. And how are we supposed to do it? As Jesus loved his disciples, because he set that example for us. And then why? Why must we do this? Yeah, say it louder.
So everyone knows that we're his disciples?
Yes, so everyone knows that we're his disciples. We are not known for being spiteful, for hating others, for being self-righteous. But this is what we're supposed to be identified by. This is how people are supposed to know that we love Jesus. One thing disciples of Jesus must be known for is their serving. If there's nothing else you take from today, it's that if there's one thing, followers of Jesus must be known for how they serve. So what is serving? What is serving? Serving is love. Love for God, and it's love for people. How is it love for God? Do you have an idea? Yeah. Okay, serving him, how would you serve him?
Reading the Bible and singing.
Okay, reading the Bible and singing, sure. Yeah, did you have an idea?
Doing his commandments.
Doing his commandments, that's a good one. I like that. Serving is loving to God because when we love the people around us, we're also loving Jesus. Jesus asked us to serve others. If you love me, he says, you will keep my commands. And he says that in the very next chapter. If you love me, you will keep my commands. And what commands is he referring to? The one we just looked at, to love one another. So the good news is this. You don't have to listen to your parents or your teachers or serve them. You don't have to serve anyone, really. Just Jesus. So that's the good news. You can ignore everyone else. But Jesus tells you to serve others and love your parents. So you will have to do that as well. So we know love for God comes from serving others, but it's also love for people. How is it love for people? Well, as a lot of you just said, serving is when you think about other people's needs before your own. When something's inconvenient, you recognize someone else needs something, and you do it for them anyway, even when it's not convenient. Serving is love for others. It's working for the benefit of other people. What's the world's idea of love? Since we just said serving is love, how does the world describe love? Well, it describes it a lot as Kissing? Sure, yeah. Passion, emotion, stuff that's fleeting. It comes and it goes. Like many love songs, Taylor Swift, super popular right now. How many songs has she written, man, about love or not loving someone anymore that she used to love? Love comes and it goes, and it's probably the reason why Leonardo DiCaprio has been married like 7 different times. Yeah, a lot of pop culture. There's more to come. But the world describes love as just a feeling, something that you only have to do when it's convenient. But as Christians, we ought to understand that love is a choice. Not only is it a choice, but it's our responsibility to love God, but also to love other people. It is a choice. Jesus says in Matthew 25:40, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." So if you're looking at the people who are the least, those who have less money or less social status or are going through a hard time or just in a harder position than you, and you're treating them poorly, oh, you got to watch out. That's how you're treating Jesus. If you are serving those people, if you are showing them love, that's love for Jesus. That's love for Jesus. The way we treat others is a reflection of our relationship with God. It's a reflection of our relationship with Yahweh. It's a big, big deal. And why do we treat those people well? Why do we have to love them? Why do we have to serve them? Why do we have to serve them when they suck or they're mean to us or they're our bully at school? Because each of them are equally made in the image of God as we are, and they've fallen equally short of the glory of God. So they are deserving of the love that God has shown us through Jesus. Do you know what the 5 love languages are? Can anyone name the 5 love languages? Can anyone name some of them? Yeah. Physical touch. Acts of service. Gift giving. Okay, that's quality time. Words of affirmation. We got all 5. Let's go. So, touch, service, words, time, gifts. Isn't it no wonder that service is one of the 5 main ways which humans show love? Actions often speak louder than words. Isn't it interesting that Jesus often chose to serve as the main way to do his ministry on earth? How can you apply this? Well, when you help a friend with their homework and you're already finished your homework, that's how you love, through serving. When you listen to a friend's story, even when it's not interesting at all, you are so bored. That is love through serving. When you give up your food and possessions to someone who needs it more, that's love through serving, right? So serving is love. Serving is also leading. It is obedience. It's the way of Christ, and it's how we become leaders. Jesus came and he changed the world, and he did it largely through serving others. He said, just as the Son of Man, Jesus, came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many. The most high, glorious, righteous person ever, who doesn't have to do anything for anyone. We deserve none of it, and yet he came to the earth not to be served, but to serve, to show that none of us are above serving. And so God sent his one and only Son to die on the cross, be buried, and then rise, defeating death itself, so that whoever believed in him wouldn't succumb to the punishment of their sin. But if they believed in him, if they proclaimed that Jesus is Lord, if they live as though they were a disciple of Jesus, we might have eternal life and get to go to heaven. And that's the good news of the gospel. The world's idea of leadership is very different. It's very different. Jude, do you know any of these people? You want to name some of them? Andrew Tate. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Jack Doherty. The Kardashians. Jake Paul. These are not leaders. They are a poor substitute. This is a Timu version of a leader. Out of everything I've said so far, that is not the one you should be clapping at. Yes. It's a wish. These people are not leaders. They may have followers, but they're not leaders. They're not leaders because they don't serve anyone except for themselves. Real leaders serve others. Let me tell you a story. During the American Revolution, a man in civilian clothes rode past a group of soldiers repairing a small defensive barrier. Their leader was shouting instructions, but making absolutely no attempt to help them. The man on the horse asked the leader, why wasn't he helping? The leader said, I'm a corporal. I don't have to help them. The man riding the horse apologized, got off his horse, and proceeded to help the exhausted soldiers. When they had finished repairing the defensive barrier, he turned to the corporal and said, Mr. Corporal, next time you have a job like this and not enough men to do it, go to your commander-in-chief and I will come and help you again. The man who rode in on his horse and helped those soldiers was George Washington. He was the commander-in-chief for the Continental Army. He was about to be the president of the United States, and yet he didn't think of himself too highly that he wasn't willing to get off his horse and help, recognizing that the soldiers were just people too. George Washington was a Christian not just because he said he was a Christian, but because he served like Christ. He served like Christ. So how can you apply this? Well, when you spend time with the unpopular kid, the kid that's kind of weird, the kid who doesn't really pick up on those social cues, the kid who has those weird interests, when you spend time with that kid, that is leadership through serving. When you hold open the door day in and day out for your classmates, even though they don't thank you for it, that is leading through serving. When you refuse to participate in gossip and speaking bad about people behind their back, even when they deserve it, even when they wronged you, that is leading through serving. Serving is leadership, but serving is also what we're made for. You have been saved into a personal relationship with Jesus Christ if you have accepted him into your heart. But it's not just a personal relationship. He's also saved you to be with the greater body of believers. And so when I say the church for the next few minutes, I'm not referring to Hillside, but I'm referring to the greater group of people who believe in Jesus. You were saved to be a part of that group. One of the main reasons why God saves people is not just to bring them to himself, but to bring them into his family, which is the church. And so when you hear someone say, I love Jesus, but I don't love his church. I love Jesus, but I don't love his church. You are hearing something completely contradictory to the Bible, something completely contradictory to Scripture. It's kind of impossible to love Jesus, but then not do what he says and not love his people, because we were saved to be part of this community. The understanding of the gospel is what fuels us to long to serve Jesus Christ. If you are a Christian, you are not a passive observer. You are not just sitting here eating popcorn looking at a movie. No, you are part of this. You are not a passive observer of what God is doing in the church. You are an active participant. This idea of being a committed servant is so foreign in a world of Andrew Tate and Jake Paul and the Kardashians. We have leadership conferences all over the place. Where are the servant conferences? Where are the serving conferences? You don't see them. It is so foreign in a world where people pick churches like frozen yogurt toppings. They say, I like this about the church, but I don't like that. I really liked what the pastor was wearing, or I liked that he talked on something that was interesting to me. I really didn't like the worship music this week. Well, good thing we weren't worshiping you. It's so foreign in a world where people say, I like this about the church, but not this. But the Bible has a loving newsflash for people who are just consuming church. You are not in the stands. You are part of the game. Get your head in the game. Jesus says you have been saved to serve. This is exciting. Okay, so serving is your purpose. What does the world say your purpose is? The world says your purpose is only to fulfill your own desires, to chase your dream, to follow your heart, man, to do what feels good, to do you, boo. You know? This is what Oprah says. Oprah says, follow your instincts. That's where true wisdom manifests itself. The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. Doesn't that sound nice? There's nothing inherently wrong with this, and inherently wrong with like chasing dreams or whatever. But our culture is so us-centered. What are you going to do today? What do I want? What do I want to be called? What do I want to look like? Like, it's all about us all the time. Like, even social media like reinforces this. You scroll and the algorithm just picks out what you want. Everything is so us-centered all the time. And it's not good for us. And this is so contrasted with what Christ tells us is our purpose. Christ says you were created to glorify God and to serve others. Christ says that no one is above serving. And that's just very different from a very us-centered culture. And so this is what Paul says in Ephesians. He says, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. That's your purpose. Let me tell you, I've struggled with depression for quite a long time. And it was way worse before I met Christ. It was just me in my head all the time. I was so focused on what was going on in my own mind, just spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, just wanting someone to reach out, just wanting someone to listen, just wanting, I don't know, like it was just all about me, so much that I missed what was going on in the lives of my friends and family and community. I was just thinking about myself all the time. And so what I found was, after I started following Jesus, I started getting involved in serving a little bit more, doing a little bit more ministry, looking out for others a little bit more. And I found that one of the best antidotes to mental health is thinking about other people more. Because inadvertently, you think about yourself less of the time. You don't think less of yourself, but you think of yourself less of the time. And that's a big deal. The happiest you will ever be is serving others. You don't have to serve using special gifts. We don't have a special gift of like, I was made for stacking chairs, but it still needs to be done. And so sometimes the willingness to serve is way more important than the special talents or abilities you have. If you are an amazing singer or an amazing musician, but you think you're too good, and so you're not willing to actually use that gift, it's worthless. But if you are just okay at a ton of things, but really want to help, Jesus can use you to like change the world. The willingness is often more important than the talent. The talent comes from God anyway. When you offer to carry things for other people, that's what you were made for. That is your purpose through serving. When you volunteer with children's ministry or another ministry that helps people, that is what you were made for. When you wake up at 8 a.m. because you told your friend you were going to take them to the vibe, that is what you were made for. Serving is what you were made for. And disciples of Jesus must be known for how they serve. Amen. The band can come back up. Yeah. Don't just clap, but like, think it through. You know, we must be known for how we serve, not about how we judge others, not about our hypocrisy, not because we're like Angela from The Office. We have to change the perceptions of Jesus by living differently. Serving is love. It's how we love God, and it's how we love others. Serving is leadership. It's obedience to Christ. It's how we become good leaders. Serving is our purpose. It brings us joy, fulfillment, and makes us part of this bigger community that is so much greater than ourselves. So here's my challenge for you this week. Find one way. That's all I'm asking, just one. Just one way to serve your parent or guardian this week. What can you do to help them out? I'm going to ask you, because then I can hold you accountable. What can you do to help your mom or dad this week?
Do the dishes.
Do the dish. You heard that? Write it down. Got that? Okay. I'm sorry. You are locked in now, my friend. What can you do? Yeah. What? No, I'm asking you. Sure. Okay. You have helped a lot this morning, my friend. Thank you.
Clean my room.
Clean my room. That's a good one. If you can figure out something that your parent or guardian would usually have to do without you that you're not expected to do, and you do that for them, that is a great way to serve them. I want to end on this one story that I think you guys will like. The great violinist Niccolo Paganini asked for his marvelous violin to be donated to the city where he was born. But the one condition, he said, that when he donates his violin is that no one would be allowed to play it ever again. And that's kind of a weird condition, an unfortunate condition, because the type of wood that it was made out of maintained itself only when it was being played. It had to be played to be kept well, and it showed very little wear as long as it was still being played. But as soon as it's discarded and not used, it begins to decay. So this exquisite, mellow-toned violin quickly became worm-eaten and broken and just sad-looking. It just withers up. And it's a good reminder that a life without serving other people quickly becomes really meaningless. And so maybe you're feeling like your life is pretty meaningless right now, or there's a lack of purpose or a lack of joy. And I'd encourage you, maybe consider that this is the reason why. What if you could be this beautiful violin, offer yourself to God as an instrument to glorify Him, that people wouldn't see the worm-eaten Angelas of the world, but would recognize this beautiful violin playing beautiful music and think, wow, maybe there is a really good God out there that I need to investigate. Something to think about. Serving is love, it's leadership, it's what you were made for. Find one way to serve your parent or guardian this week.